Hey guys, and welcome to another Drive with me. My name is Maria Delia, and today we're going to be talking about how I balance medical school as a second-year medical student and a single mom. If you are a parent thinking about getting into medical school, or if you are just someone who is currently in medical school and life be lifing, then this video is just for you. Today we're driving to the mall, of all places, so this should be fun. I have several talking points, but it's going to be short, cute, and straight to the point, so let's go ahead and get started. You don't need to be a med student to know that life be lifing. It don't care who or what or when, and you just have to always be prepared. Medical school is also gonna be medical school regardless of what you have going on in your life. It's probably no shocker to you that my first point is going to be time management. Mornings for me, especially as a single mom, are chaos, but they're structured. So chaotic, but structured, if you will. And I say that because my son obviously has to get to school at a certain time of day, and that's not going to change day to day. That stays pretty consistent. He's usually out of the house by 7:40, and I try to make that mom-son time, if you will. Prior to getting him to where he needs to be, that's, I would say, where the magic happens. That's where I get all of my me time in, all of my planning in, all of my just woosah, you know what I mean? So I definitely believe in getting up super early. Not really super early. I mean, he has to be to school by 7:40, so if I'm up by 6 a.m., honestly, that's all a girl can ask for. If I can get up earlier, then perfect, but I'm not gonna beat myself up if I can't get up earlier than 6 p.m. or earlier than 6 a.m. That at least gives me an hour to really figure out the way that the day is going to be. Once I get him where he's going, I also have the opportunity to journal, to plan, to drink my coffee, decaffeinated as of late. But I do have the opportunity to do those things once he's gone. The way that I am able to manage everything has been because I use time blocking. And basically what that is just setting aside time throughout the day, each day, for you to complete a certain task. So if I know that my morning is going to be really hectic with my son, then I will tell myself from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. you need to complete said tasks. I basically give myself 2 to 3 study blocks a day. Those blocks are at minimum 2 hours, sometimes 3 to 4 hours. It all just simply depends on the day that I have ahead. But the most important takeaway is that I have to time block throughout the day to know when and where I need to be. And sometimes that's time blocking in the morning before the day started, or it's time blocking the Sunday before that week. What I use to kind of keep track of everything is GoodNotes. I love GoodNotes. As a medical student, you definitely use your iPad a lot, or at least I do. My tried and true are my iPad and my MacBook. So if you are already using your iPad to do your medical school work, it's no biggie to go ahead and use that as your planner as well. With GoodNotes, I'm able to plan my day and time block. I'll have the day mapped out and I will literally draw a big square. It's a big block, and I can show you guys if you really want to know, but I'll draw a big block to indicate that this block of time is dedicated to you studying for med school, or this block of time is dedicated for Pilates, or this block of time is for you to take your son to school or take him to basketball, or whatever the case may be. Long story short, if it's something I have to do, I'm going to block it out. I like to do this as opposed to creating a large list of tasks because I can get carried away with tasks. Time blocking has definitely helped your girl out. Okay, so my second point that I want to talk about is how I balance studying with all of this. You guys know that medical school is very demanding. The average Joe is not in medical school. They've designed it to be that way. It's very difficult to get in. It's very difficult to stay in, but rightfully so, I get it. We're gonna be in charge of saving people's lives. The buck will stop at us when it comes to someone's livelihood. So I understand that the necessity to be as competitive and to be as rigorous as it is. That being said though, that does require a lot out of me as a single parent. And so what I do, or what I try to do, is I kind of mentioned this when I talked about time blocking, but I like to schedule 2 to 3 study sessions a day. That means that I could be studying in the morning as well as midday. I could also be studying in the evening time. It really just depends on the day. But what is important is that I remain flexible, because some days are very chaotic. There's going to be days, for example, where I don't even get to think about medical school because I'm in full mom mode. I might have a grocery run. I might have, basketball runs. I might have theater runs. There's so many things that my son is into. So sometimes there are days where I don't get to really think about medical school until all of those mom tasks are completed. I have to arrange my studying around that. And so that's why I really harp on the time blocking, because if you know that you have to be to Johnny's basketball game that day from 5 to 7, then all of your studying should occur prior to that. If you know that you have a mandatory class from 10 to 12 and you also have a basketball game later on that evening, then all of your studying should occur from 12 to 4. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to use the time that is given to you. You can't lollygag, if you will. You have to be proactive. You have to be disciplined. It's not doable. It's very much so doable. It just takes a little bit more effort on your part as a parent. And if it's one thing I know for sure, it's that moms know how to get it done. So get it done, plan out your day, be realistic, and give yourself grace, and you will be just fine. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the mom guilt that comes with being a mom. Honestly, you can be a single parent, okay? You could be in a 2-parent household and still feel the mom guilt that's going to come with this rigorous course and career choice that you have. And I just want to say, I think that it's normal for you to feel that you could be doing better as a mom, you could be more present as a mother, but I urge you to recall why you're doing this in the first place. You're doing this for the both of you guys, or for your entire unit. You're not doing this just for you. This is something that's going to benefit your family unit as a whole. And I think in those times where you feel guilty, it's important for you to remember that and keep pushing, keep going. My next point that I want to talk about is having a support system. When you get into medical school, hopefully you're able to join a cohort that's very cohesive and collaborative. I've been very fortunate to have joined a cohort as such. Even if you're not in that type of environment, I think it's very important to have that support system, because there are going to be things that you're not going to be able to be at. There are going to be things that you're going to have to forego, and you're going to need to be able to rely on someone that you trust and that is supportive in situations like that. I think it's very important that you kind of foster that environment and that community for yourself, especially if you're moving to somewhere where your family is not. Just remember that you are not in it alone. You're going to need help. You can't do this all by yourself. Even if it's just someone to call and talk to on the phone when you are like really losing your marbles. They don't have to necessarily be there physically. They can just be there emotionally. If that's you just having a therapist to kind of push through those tough and dark moments that are, med school sometimes brings, because you can't do it alone. It does take a village. I have learned that it is okay to ask for help. And I am a whopping going into my 32nd year of life. It took me maybe 29 to recognize that I actually couldn't do it by myself. So I'm saving you the mental headache, the emotional turmoil. Just ask for help if you need it. From your professors, from your school, from your friends. Don't isolate. Get yourself some help. Get yourself some support. You need the support system. The next thing we're going to talk about is self-care and avoiding burnout. Okay, so me personally, I am the Energizer Bunny. I feel I just know how to go and check things off my to-do list and just look for what's next, and never really take time to sit and think about what I just completed, because I'm always looking for what's next to complete. Something I'm working through. That being said though, I do think that it's very important that we remember to block out time for self-care. For example, if I know that the day is going to be pretty hectic, planned out my day using good notes, and I know that I'm going to have a block of time from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. to do nothing. So I'll block out time for self-care. So that might mean that I'm reading my book from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. or even if it's just 30 minutes, or I might say, hey, on Wednesday night, I don't care what goes on that week, I will take a bubble bath. I will pamper myself. I also use the self-care blocks to have time with my son as well. On Saturday nights, my son and I watch his favorite anime show. That is how I kind of cure the mom guilt, but also take a little bit of time for myself and allow myself not to be so serious all the time. But that doesn't mean that I get to have as much self-care as I love or I would want to have. I'm gonna be real with you, no. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes self-care is just this fantasy that I have in the back of my mind. That doesn't mean that I actually get to have it every day, but the intent is always there. Basically, in a nutshell, I might not always have the self-care that I would want for myself, but I do make sure that the intent is always there, that within my time blocking, within my planning for the week, I have at least 1 to 2 things where I'm just doing something specifically for myself. I'll also make sure to map out when I have something specifically for my son. I have goals throughout the week that I try to hit as far as me showing up as a mother, as well as me showing up as a student, and me showing up for me. As long as you have those 3 pillars, when you plan for the week or plan for the day, you're gonna be okay. And sometimes the self-care does not have to be as grand or big as a bubble bath day, or as, big as 3 to 4 hours to yourself. The self-care could be as simple as you sitting in your car, taking a moment to yourself, relaxing, eating a parfait or an acai bowl, and just breathing for a sec. It could really just be so simple. Don't make it so complex. It doesn't have to be. Anyways, if you learned anything from this video, being a mom in medical school is very difficult. However, it's not impossible. It's something that you can do if you want to do it. The key: grace, support, and good time management. If you're a parent in medical school or aspiring to be, or just thinking about it, drop a comment down below and let me know how you balance it all. Like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you guys in the next video.